and welcome to Project Life Weekly. Today we're going to do my title page for my 2024 album. You're also going to see the way I have January set up. I will talk a little bit about foundation pages and why I set those up or how I use them. That paper you just saw is the paper that I will be using along with some other product that I use for my month. So one of the things that I like doing with my project life is each month I pick different product, a different theme to do and to use. One of the things that I didn't like about Project Life when I first started it, and I was doing it weekly and I was just using one core kit for the year. That's how Project Life was designed, is you would use one core kit and you would use that the whole year. Now, the thing that I didn't like about that is I really like memory keeping in a seasonal way. When you go from traditional scrapbooking where you're doing these, 12 by 12 pages and you're, doing memory keeping based on event or season, I really missed that seasonal feel to my Project Life album. And so my fix for that was to take each month and to switch up my product. The other thing that would happen is I would get bored with the product. If I'm just using one core kit or one set of product for the whole year, I would get bored with it. And the thing that I want to make sure that I do is not get bored with the process, for sure. And then also I want to be able to use all of the things that I have, and there's not a chance that I'm going to not buy product. So by changing things up every month, I can use that product that I already have. I don't get bored, and then I can do it more seasonally. So what I'm doing here is the product that you're seeing with the sweater and the scarf and the hat and then the thing that says January. That is product from Pixel to Pages, which is a design team that I am part of. It's brand new. This was my first go around with using the product for my actual album. This snowflake paper is from that other paper that I used. And being on a design team is all new to me. I'm hoping to use more of the product in a more just in a greater way. I was not able to use it this month, other than what I used here. I used the title card, and then I used those die cut letters are from Stampin' Up. I also printed out, it's digital product, so I printed out the pattern paper, and then I sprayed it with glitter. So I know it's a little bit hard to see in this like in the video here, but the pages that I printed out, I sprayed with glitter. You will be seeing that product in some Traveler's Notebook pages that I did. I lost the footage for those notebook pages. I deleted it on accident, but I will be getting those Traveler Notebook pages out, and I will be sharing that. It's something that I'm going to be adding here to my lineup this year, is doing Traveler's Notebooks, and I used the cards, the 3x4 cards, and the pattern paper for those Traveler's Notebooks. So stay tuned for that. So that is January. You saw me set up my title card, and then I added my 3x4 cards in the middle. I used to do this where I would set up 3 or 4 months in advance. I prefer to do it that way. I just haven't necessarily had time recently to set it up. But sometimes if you are feeling stressed about this project in any way, the best thing that you can do is, again, find a system. That's what we're doing all of January, is we're talking about and figuring out systems so that we can continue to do a yearly album. And one of the systems that you can put in place is setting up several months in advance, so that if you have some creative time, you sit down, you prep those months, and then the next thing you have to do is just worry about photos, getting them printed and dropping them into the pockets, right? So that, I actually like to do that, and I will probably try to get back to doing that eventually. So here I'm going to work on the title page. This is going to be the majority of the video, is working on this title page. I have an idea for what I want to do with some 6x12 page protectors. And so I grabbed 13 of those out, one for each of my months and then one for the very beginning. I don't know that I will use one for each of my months, but I definitely am using one in January. So I'm going to pop one of those 6x12 page protectors into January, so I have it. I was just figuring out where I wanted that, and then I will do that when we drop our photos into January and when I do the journaling and stuff, when we're focused more on January. Today is really about the title page, and I don't necessarily have photos for January yet. I haven't printed anything for January. So I will just pop that in, and then I will pop those extra 6x12 page protectors into the back of my album with the extra page protectors. The next thing I'm going to do here is wrap this ribbon around my page lifter, and I'm going to tie it in a knot.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes, even if I'm falling down.
The reason I wanted to use the ribbon is because I wanted to cover the Becky Higgins logo. I don't love that. I also don't love the instructions printed. I don't mind the cultivate a good life and record it, but the logo and then there's instructions that says keep this at the front of your album. I don't love that either. So I'm going to use the ribbon. It is going to make my album a little bit chunky. That's always a little bit nerve-wracking, especially the first of the year. That seems to be more chunky than the second half, but we'll just go with it and we'll see. You can always take the ribbon off. You can always change out the page lifter. I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to go with it. I have these vellum hearts. These are from Ali Edwards. They came in one of the themed kits. I am no longer getting the subscription story kit and stories by the month. I'm only getting the stamp set just because I'm taking a little break. I have so much product. I want to try to use the product I have. And I am actually looking for another subscription-based thing to sign up for to get some just different types of product, but I haven't really found anything that I liked. So I'm going to use those vellum hearts. I was just checking out to see what I wanted to do. And then I have this piece of pattern paper. It is from scrapbook.com. It is no longer available. The last time I looked for it, I could not find it. I'm so sad. I wish I would have got 100 sheets of this because I use it so much. I love the cameras. I think I used it on last year's or the year before title page. So all I'm doing is cutting a bit off. I did a 4-inch by 6-inch, and I'm going to use 2 of these pieces. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. This took me a little while to figure out. I don't know why I could not get into it. I spent quite a bit of time trying to figure out what I wanted to do for my title page. Probably a lot longer than I am comfortable doing. Like, I like to get things done and get moved on, but I just was having a hard time. And that's going to happen sometimes. Your mojo's, takes a hike, or I don't know, sometimes it feels intimidating to start, like when you start a new notebook. Sometimes it is hard to make that first doodle or write that first sentence. Sometimes it's hard to get into it. So my best advice for that is scrap lift somebody. If you end up liking what I do here, copy it. Go on Pinterest and search Project Life title pages. Search YouTube for Project Life title pages. Take a couple of the things that you see and mix them up together and do something different. But my best advice is to just scrap lift something if you're struggling with figuring it out. I got into my groove and I really like the way all of this came out. You're going to see I make a couple mistakes. And it definitely, this footage was, I don't know, about an hour and a half long. I condensed it and cut some things out for sure. But I like the way it came out, and I was able to use a lot of the product that I had, and that was really fun. So here I have a couple cards from Allie Edwards. I have the blue one that has some writing on it, and then I have the darker one that has writing on it. I didn't want to use both of those because I don't like having a lot of that kind of filler card, handwriting all together. I wanted to use one or the other, so I'm going to use this card here. Now, the reason I'm matting it with black paper is because the corners were rounded on it. And so I took a 1/4 inch off of the card so that it would not have rounded corners. And so because of that, I'm going to mat a couple of my other items with black paper. So I'm going to use this card. It says embrace the journey, or starting a new journey, something like that, embracing a new journey. Now, I can handwrite some journaling on here. I was thinking that I might just write, maybe what each of us are interested in or something like that. I might end up gluing it down, but I don't think that I glued it down because I wasn't sure if I want to type some journaling onto that or if I want to handwrite it. So I just stuck it in the pocket so it's there, and then I can figure it out later. So then I'm going to cut down 3 more basic black pieces of cardstock. You can get basic black cardstock from Stampin' Up! Or Concord a Ninth, Close to My Heart, any of those places. Any 12 by 12 cardstock that I'm using is either from Stampin' Up! Or Close to My Heart. I am currently building up my collection of cardstock that is 12 by 12 from Close to My Heart because they have really a great selection and you can get it in really large packs. So in the middle here, I've done title pages all different ways. I've done them where they are 12 by 12. I've done 9 by 12. I've done 6 by 12. I've done all sorts of different styles. I've done several different pages for a title page. This year, I wanted to keep it relatively simple so that you could follow this formula if you were doing this. So many of you have been so kind in saying that you are excited for this series and getting back into it, or looking for inspiration to do your album for the year. And so I wanted to give you some inspiration and some examples of something that you could very easily scrap lift. And using the design A for January, the back side, or the side that is my title page, is a design A. So I thought it would be really easy to just use that for the title page. I'm going to add a couple things to layer on top of it, which you don't have to do, but you can if you would like. So with the page lifter, I'm covering up the instructions with a chipboard. I just went through my Allie Edwards chipboard and I pulled out several long strips that I thought I would like to use. I'm going to cover that up, and then I'm going to add these hearts. I was originally thinking about adding our initials to each heart, like just doing 5 of them, and then adding like our initials or ages or our names. I end up just going ahead and adding 6 of them to the front of this, and these hearts will end up being a theme throughout the title page. So I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to get too picky about how I attach them. I'm just going to use my running adhesive. I'm going to attach them to the page lifter. I will, like a little bit later, I will think about adding the hearts to the back to cover up. You can see the adhesive a little bit through the page lifter, so I will think about adding hearts to the back of it so you can't. But in the end, I just decided to go with it, and it's totally fine. Nobody cares about the adhesive showing. The only person that cares about it is me. When my family and my friends look through these albums, nobody is pointing out to me that they can see adhesive on the backs of my embellishments. Nobody even notices them. So I'm just going to not worry about it, and I will not do anything to the back of the page lifter. Now, you can see also the instructions behind the chipboard, but that's fine. Again, I'm not really worried about it. People don't tend to, when looking through this, they don't tend to stop long enough to take in all of the details. They're usually just looking at the photos. Sometimes they stop and read the journaling or the journal cards, but really, all of this extra stuff that I'm doing is for me. This is the part that I love. And one thing with memory keeping that I just want to share with you is there's going to be pieces of memory keeping you do for yourself, and there's going to be pieces of memory keeping you do for other people. I want people to look at my albums. I want my kids to see the albums and see the memories, but they don't care about if I use a heart or a star. I could have used stars. I could have done nothing to the page lifter. Honestly, nobody cares. The thing that they're going to care about is seeing themselves in the pictures and seeing our family and seeing the things that we've done. And so all of this extra stuff is just because I love it. And so if there are things that you love, do it. Just dive in and do it. If there are things that you don't like, if you don't like journaling, we're going to be tackling journaling in the upcoming weeks, and I'm going to share some tips with you on just some thoughts about it and ways to tackle it. If you don't love journaling, don't do it. Whatever you're doing is enough. So I just want to remind you of that. So I've printed some photos here. I used my selfie printer, so my mini printer that prints 4x6 photos. And my photos are very pink. I couldn't figure out why they have this pink tint to them. I realized I used different paper and they came out looking a little bit pink. So I'm not going to end up using that photo of Kayla. I'm going to use something different. I'm going to go ahead and use the photos of my husband and I, and then of Violet and of Andrew. I printed out 2 photos of Violet so I could choose which one I wanted. I'm going to go ahead and not worry about it. This one of my husband and I, it definitely has a very pink tint to it. I could reprint it, or I could, when I send out my photos for the month, get it reprinted. I don't know. It doesn't bother me all that much. And you're going to see this photo of my husband and I, it goes through it. I make some mistakes and do some things to this photo, and it really goes through it. So you're going to see I'm not worried about it. You know, all these photos are backed up. I have them all digitally. They're all, you know, in a safe place. I'm not looking for these albums to last a million years. You know, one day they'll probably be in the garbage somewhere, and I'm totally fine with that, because what I get from memory keeping and the happiness that I get and the joy that I get from it is all I'm looking for. That's all I want from it. If when I'm gone, you know, when I'm passed away and I'm gone and my kids are looking at all these albums, if they want to throw them away, they are more than welcome to do that. These albums, memory keeping, serves a purpose for me and my heart, and that's all that's important to me. So I'm not looking for them to last forever. I do, you know, tend to try to be careful with the adhesive I'm using. I want it to be archivally safe. But, you know, I'm going to put things on top of photos. I'm going to put adhesive on photos. I'm going to put embellishment on photos. I'm going to do all of the things, and I'm just not going to worry about it. That is something that I just realized a long time ago, that the thing that I'm doing is the enjoyable part, not so much worrying about all of the details for the future. So I will end up using the other photo of Violet when I have this wonderful idea that's going to hit me right around here. So I had no idea. At this point, I was like, I'll put a photo of my husband and I'll put the photo of the 3 kids in the middle. I'll put the date, you know, the 2024 on one of the cards. And then that was the only idea I had. So then I was going to use this piece of chipboard that I really love it. It talks about families and roots and, you know, growing together. And I thought, oh, I'll put a heart behind that chipboard. Well, the hearts, those vellum hearts that I had on the desk there, were too small. So right now I'm going through my heart container that has all the different hearts that I have, and it has different sizes. And I find this one, it says come together. It's a little bit larger and it fits perfect. And this sparks a whole bunch of ideas for me. The other thing is that is a little bit green. It has a green tint to it. I'm later going to color the back of it black, And so it will darken it up and it will make it look more black. So then I wonder if I can put hearts, these vellum hearts on each of the photos of the kids and write their name and their age. So that is why I will end up using this other photo of Violet, because it's just going to, I guess that this one would have worked fine that I had in there. But this other photo that I printed of her will work a little bit better, because there's a perfect space for the heart. And so that is when I realized I'm going to print a new photo of Kayla, and so that I can do the same thing. So I'm going to pull this photo up. I just threw it away. I throw photos away. In fact, today, before I got started on this project, I went through a whole bunch of old photos I had, and I don't know, I threw away a good 100 photos that I just didn't need anymore. Like they were not useful. And so I threw them away. So I don't have a problem throwing photos away. And I think it's one of the best things that you can find the courage to do, is let go of photos. And when I say photos, I mean like duplicates, or photos. Like I had photos of us working outside. I don't need 90 photos of us working outside and planting plants. Like I have them backed up. So I let go of them. I don't know. Let me know if you want me to talk more about photos. That is a topic I plan to talk about this month. And so I can tackle questions that you have about photos, or things that you struggle with when it comes to photos. So I took some pens. I had a slick writer, and then I had that fine liner. I also looked at my white gel pen to see what would write on the surface of this vellum. And it turned out that the fine liner, that's a fabric Castell fine liner, worked the best. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to add these vellum hearts to the photos of the kids. On Kayla's, it went off the photo, and on Andrew's, it went off the photo. But on Violet, I nestled it right into that spot, and I didn't cut any of that heart off. I tried to use hearts that were a little bit lighter in color, so the black text that I'm going to write on here would show up. And then you see on Andrew's, I snip it off. On each one of the hearts, I will write their name. So Kayla Faith. So I write her first and her last, and her first and her middle name, and then how old she is. And then I will write Violet Victoria, and then her age. Now her middle name is longer, so it's a little bit farther down on the heart. And then Andrew Michael is on the last one, and then his age. And that worked out great. So when I start to add the heart to our photo, my husband and I, things get a little bit messy, and I have to pivot a little bit and figure it out. So on these plastic embellishments, a lot of times there is a film that is on them to protect them from getting scratched. And I just took that off. I used not a razor blade. That is the wrong word. That tool has, the name of that tool has left me. I just used it to peel off the plastic. Now off camera, what I'm doing is I'm grabbing my black alcohol marker, and I am coloring the entire back of that heart, and you can see it there. I'm blowing on it to dry it, and what that's going to do is it darkens up that heart and makes it look more black instead of more green. It just had a forest green tint to it, and I wanted it to be more black. I'm going to take some tear and tape, and I'm going to put that on the back of it. And then with my X-Acto knife, that is the name of that tool. With my X-Acto knife, I'm going to peel off the backing for the adhesive, and then I will put that right in the middle of the camera paper. I will press that down, and then this chipboard I will go right over it. And some of Ali Edwards' chipboard has adhesive on it, and some of it doesn't. I tend to use liquid glue if I need to add adhesive to it. Otherwise, if it already has adhesive, I just pull it off and then add it. So now what I think I'm going to do is just add one heart to the photo of my husband and I thought I would write celebrating 19 years. This will be our 19th year wedding anniversary coming up this year. And so that's what I thought I would put on ours because let's face it, we don't need to put our ages. We're old. And we know it. So I thought I'll put celebrating 19 years together. So I go ahead, I start to write that. So the problem is that, and I don't recognize what the problem is for quite a few moments and quite a few different things. The problem is that his sweatshirt is black and I'm writing with a black pen. Also, celebrating is a long word, and so it wasn't fitting on the heart. So at first I'm like, I'm just going to go with it. I'm not going to worry about it. It's totally fine. However, I was feeling that it also looked a little weird with just the one heart. I was feeling like it looked a little off. So I think, okay, well, I'll add 2 hearts and then I will write celebrating across 2 hearts. It'll give me a little bit more space. So luckily the heart starts to pull up. So that's good considering I printed the photo myself. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll grab another heart. We'll add 2 hearts and we'll write the thing. Okay, the problem still is it's a black sweatshirt and I'm writing with black ink. So here I go again, adding the adhesive. Yep, we're going to add that. I also add that heart up to high. And if I'm going to write the words celebrating across 2 hearts, they sort of need to be right by each other. So now the heart is up in his face. And that's like the whole point was to fill up the space. So I'm like, okay, let's move it down. How this photo survived everything I'm about to do is beyond me. So I'm going to add the adhesive to this heart. And I'm going to write all the things on there again with the black pen. And then it's after this point that I realize that the problem is it's a black pen on a background that is black. That's the problem. It's not working. At this point, I think I'm just going to go with it. Again, I think it's fine. It's totally fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. Again, nobody's going to care. It'll be fine. But I can't let it go. And also, I am more in the frame today than I have been in the past because I moved my desk around and it just has moved my camera around. And so we're just going with it. So I take the sleeve of my husband's sweatshirt because I'm wearing my husband's sweatshirt. And I proceed to wipe all of the, I'm like, I wonder if the writing will wipe off. It sure did, right onto my husband's sweatshirt. I'm sure he'll be happy about that. And then I'm going to use this chipboard. So instead of writing on those hearts, I'm going to use the chipboard that says big love for this is what I think it says, or it might say for that. I think it says this, big love for this. And I just add those over the 2 hearts. I like that much better. But I also recognize that now there is chipboard on both of the squares up top, which does feel a little bit not balanced. I feel like the hearts are now balanced. So the vellum hearts, there's 1 on each of the kids and then 2 for us. And that is 5 hearts, which feels like it is better balanced. But now there is a lot of chipboard at the top of the page. So I will fix that. So the next thing I did is I cut some black cardstock to 6x12. That's going to go in the 6x12 page protector. I am going to take a photo and get it printed in 6x12, and that will be the front of this. This is going to be the back. And then I printed off some song lyrics of one of my favorite songs currently. It is called Next Thing You Know. It is a country song. Look it up and listen to it. And if you at all have kids or you've been married for a while, I don't know, this song will really, it just talks about like the next thing you know, like you have a baby and then they're 17 years old. And I cry every time I hear this song. I think of Kayla, who's 16, and I can't believe it. I just feel like I just had her yesterday and I can't believe how quickly it has gone by. So I grabbed a piece of patterned paper. Now this is why I keep all of my patterned paper in either color or in the paper stack it comes in, because I wanted something in this color, like this teal Bermuda Bay kind of color, and I was able to go right to my stack that I have that organized by color and grab that particular color, and I'm going to attach that on the other side. And then on the other side of the 6 by 12 will be a photo. So here I am. I'm going to put the date on here, and you're going to notice right away it says 2023, which this is not my 2023 album. Nope, it's sure not. It's my 2024 title page. And thank goodness I do realize before I get to 3 that it's the wrong number. I think when I'm doing the circle, I think is when I realize, which thank goodness I realized. So I just used a die set that I have that is a number set. It is from Stampin' Up. It is retired. It is no longer available. But I just cut out 2024. It's 2023 right now, but we'll fix it. So I just cut that out. You could do that on your Cricut. You could stamp on sticker paper and fussy cut it. You might have a die in your stash. I wanted something that was a little bit chunky and would fit in the pocket there, and this worked perfectly. And right here is where I realize, like, nope, that is not the number I need. So I will die cut the 24, and I will cut the 4, and then I will come back to it. And that will work out fine. And then what I'm going to do is put a piece of chipboard that says "This is us" over the 0. And that is going to balance out. I'm always looking for balance. I like to add my embellishments in sets of 5, which is why it's perfect. The hearts are, there's 5 of them. And then the vellum ones. And then the chipboard, I feel like it balances out a little bit better with a piece of chipboard in that bottom pocket. Again, I don't know if I'm going to journal in the Embrace the New Journey pocket. I'm not sure if I will or not. You will see for sure if I end up doing that. And then this is a really simple title page. It really, all your title page needs to do is really have the year and a current photo of either you if you're doing a personal album or your family. I like breaking the kids up and doing it like this. Sometimes I do like Kayla and Violet together, or I've done, you know, Andrew and Esau together, and then the girls and I together. Here you see on the other side of that paper is that crazy paper, but because I organized it with this blue piece, knowing the blue piece is what I would use, it was perfect. So I just added that to this 6 by 12, and then I added the song lyrics to that. And then I did end up adding some vellum hearts. I added 3, and I did some faux stitching. You'll see in the photos. You will see that I did some faux stitching around the white. You could do stitching on a sewing machine. I'm thinking about bringing my sewing machine back into my office here so that I can do sewing on different things. It's not something I've done in a really long time. So this is how the title page ended up looking. I have the page lifter. I have the 6 by 12 with the song lyrics. On the other side of that will be a full 6 by 12 photo. You will see that. I will end up adding these 3 black hearts, and then like I said, I will add some faux stitching around the white as a border, and that really tied it together. And then I have the title page that has the kids with their ages, and then Esau and I up in the corner that says "Big Love for This," and then 2024, this is our story. I really love the way that this came out. You can check out photos on my website for sure. Please don't forget to hit the like button if you liked this video. And if you love all things memory keeping, I would invite you to join my membership group. You can join here on YouTube for $4.99. You can join for $7.99 and get access to our Facebook page, or you can join for $14.99 and get access to everything. There are 2 other videos here on the screen that you can check out. They will probably be memory keeping, since that is what has been recent. And I would love for you to check those out. Make sure you come back next week for Project Life Weekly, where we will be continuing to talk about our 2024 album setup.